This is Live for Love TV. Live for Love TV. Yes, I am.
One step more. One step more. One step more. Until you reach your goals. One step more. Save them soul. One step more. One step more. How good it is to reach the
Live for Love TV. This is Live for Love TV. Live for Love TV.
Okay, back here with Live for Love TV, 20th day of the 5th month of the 21st year of the 21st century. Hope you're all doing well out there. Yesterday, as many people will know, would have been the birthday of Minister Malcolm X, the late Minister Malcolm X. If he had been alive yesterday, he'd have been 96 years old, born in 1925. I thought it would be important to say a few words for Brother Minister Malcolm X because he played such a great part in the development of myself and many, many people throughout the years, and he continues to do so. People refine Malcolm X continuously, especially now that we have social media and YouTube and other platforms. Minister Malcolm X's character shines through unbelievably. I remember in school, you know, we read our books and books were read to us and teachers would say, you read this paragraph, you read that paragraph, but I'd never read a book from cover to cover. Well, when I left school, I found Grassroots Bookshop, and I remember, I think it was in Westbourne Park or Loud Grove, I can't remember, but anyway, when I found that bookstore, I remember seeing a man on the wall, and it was a very fair-skinned man, very, you know, humble-looking man with his finger against his, I think something like this, finger against his head. He was basically the autobiography of Malcolm X. So I asked the person behind the counter, who is this? Because the Malcolm X I was expecting to see was dark and at midnight, fierce, red eyes, looking frightening and terrifying. That was what I was given as a young boy growing up in the UK with the Black Power movement, that this was somebody to be feared, even to be looked at. So when they told me it was Minister Malcolm X, I couldn't believe it. So I took that book home. And I remember reading that book cover to cover in the shortest period of time probably anybody's ever read a book. I went right through the night reading it. The next day I woke up, I read it, picked it up, read it. And I was moved beyond all belief to me. It was just unbelievable read for a young man. I must have been about 17 maybe at the time. I can seriously remember what exactly it did. And when I say it moved me, what exactly it did. It gave an idea, consciousness to my situation, to my struggle that I felt I was having as a young man, to the angers that we grew up with as a minority in a system that was against us from day one. And he was able to put this thing, not just into words, but actually into a picture, a character. You could understand what was going on to you. When you read books, the great thing about reading books is one book leads to another book. And that book led to Marcus Garvey, who we knew about, but didn't know that much about. Elijah Muhammad, The Message to the Black Man, which I read soon after that. Emperor Haile Selassie, his movement from 1930s, Life in Ethiopia's Progress, a wonderful book people should get and go and read. And book after book after book after book came from the Malcolm X autobiography. In fact, I'd already seen Roots because in school, Roots had come onto our TV screens, and that was from Alex Haley as the author. What I didn't know until I read the book was it was Malcolm X who pointed Alex Haley, towards his roots background. He told him, a man who doesn't know his background is like a tree without his roots. And at that time, Alex Haley had no idea of his background, of which he said later on. He was very bourgeois, very into writing and stuff, but he wasn't really into Black consciousness whatsoever. So Malcolm X was able to move this man who helped to write his autobiography, and therefore we got Roots, and that was epic in itself. Malcolm X moved a lot of people in his time. In fact, I believe almost every orator since then has tried to take something out of Malcolm's book. And the reason being is that Malcolm his concept and his way of dealing with words, his abilities, etymology of words, the understanding of the root word was amazing. Never have you ever seen a man at that time, and I think even to this day, that goes in front of a camera or in front of an intellectual or anybody who's interviewing him, who is not railroaded by that person, who is not led down a path that the person wants him to go down. Malcolm X was never one of those. He was never led by anybody. He did the leading. He was totally in control of what he was saying and how he wanted to come across. And he was able to do that with such an ability and a relaxation that as anybody who's ever watched him will see that Malcolm X smile in the middle of something he says. And that smile spoke 1,000 words for all those who ever listened to him or even read him. You could even pick it up from reading him, how powerful he was and how he was able to make light sometimes out of serious stuff and make serious out of light stuff. Great, great man, a man that I revere. And I thought I'd say a few words for Minister Malcolm X. We miss him. We study him. We advise you to study this man. This man will go down in history as he has for a long, long time. Even with Europeans in America now, he's a study. He's an amazing study. He's a man that was invited by the young conservatives over to an Oxford debate in the UK somewhere in 1964, I believe, not long before he passed away. And you can find that on YouTube or somewhere on social media. And, you know, as usual, another wonderful job done by Minister Malcolm X or Malcolm X. Unbelievable job. I mean, anybody, for a man who was not highly educated as in a college or university, man who was educated in prison, self-educated, educated on the sidewalk, there's almost nobody that can hold a candle to this man. So I thank Minister Malcolm X for what he did for me and what he's done for the world and what he's done for many people. And I give thanks for the memory of Malcolm X. And we salute you, Malcolm X, Live for Love TV.
People, one step more, one step more, one step more, one step more until you reach your goals. One step more.
This is Live for
Save them
Love.
so